Hello, this is Isabel Rimanoczy, and this is The Flashlight, a limited edition podcast. This podcast is about showcasing events and encounters that feature a shift from the conventional mindset as it is happening all around us. Today, I want to talk about a recent experience I had personally. My husband and I, we were going out for dinner on a Saturday evening, and a few minutes as we left the home, we start to hear a noise in the car, and it got louder and louder, so we had to stop, and we had a flat tire. And obviously, as it goes, no spare tire. So we parked on the side, and as I was calling for assistance, we waited and waited. And then suddenly a truck stopped behind us with flashing lights, and we thought it was the assistance, but not. It was a park ranger. And the park ranger was curious to see why we were there, if we needed anything. So when we told him we were waiting for the assistance for the tire and the towing to a tire station, repair station, he said, let me check if anything is open because it's Saturday night. So he checked and he said, actually, everything that is nearby is closed. So maybe you should have just a towing to your home. And then he said, I have another idea. Why don't you park the car here across the street where there is a park, and so you are in a safer area, and then tomorrow you come Sunday morning, you arrange your repair. Oh, he said, that's fine. So we moved the car slowly, and he stopped the traffic, we parked it, and then he said, where do you live? And so we said, we are 2 miles from here. Oh, I give you a ride. So he took us home. That was so nice. And when we arrived, we wanted to tip him. And he said, no, you don't tip me because this is not my job. I just did it because I wanted to help you. And so I said, well, can I give you a hug? So we smiled and we hugged. So the next morning, we started to do our research, who will repair the tire, and we find a mobile repair. So they come to the location where you have the problem. And that person says, when will you be there? And I said, well, I need to call an Uber. And he said, oh, why would you spend more money? I can pick you up. So, okay. So we gave him the address, this other person, and he picked us up. When we were arriving, I was a little bit nervous. Now, the car had been out there in the park all night. Will the car be okay? And actually, as the car was there, but there was a paper on the windshield. And I said, oh my God, we got a notice, maybe a warning that we shouldn't park there, a ticket, maybe. And when I go and read the paper, it was a big paper, handwritten, and it said, I have a flat tire in the back left side of the car. I cannot repair it now, but I will come tomorrow and take care of it. And I couldn't believe it, because what had happened is that this park ranger, after he dropped us off in our home on Saturday evening, where he was supposed to end his shift and go home, actually thought, maybe they get a ticket. I need to put a sign. They should have put a sign. I will do it for them. And I was so touched, because I many times think that I want to treat strangers as family, but he did it. I was so touched. So while we were watching the repair being done on the street, there were people walking by and walking out Sunday morning, and a woman passed once, and then she came back from her walk, and she looked at us and said, oh, you're almost done, good. Because she talked to me, I said, oh, wait a moment. I have a story to tell you. And she looked at me. And so I approached her and said, I want to tell you a story. And I told her the story about the park ranger. You know what? She got tears in her eyes. And she said, oh my God, it really makes me emotional. Really, that happened. How nice. This gives me hope. People are good. I think we will be okay. And I said, yes, true. It also touched my heart. And then she said, you know what? When I walked by, I thought, these people are standing in the heat. When I come back, I will tell them if they want to come to my home, because I have air conditioning. They can sit in my living room, and when this is done, they can go back to their car. And so I thanked her, and I thought again, yes, there is hope. And really, why am I sharing this today? Because since that day, I shared this story at next day with a friend at lunch, and he got tears in his eyes when I told him the story. And his first reaction was saying, well, there is hope. And this reminded me of something that behavioral scientists have been explaining for a long time now, and it is called the emotional contagion, which works both for the negative and the positive feelings. When we hear about something that is dark, irritating, sad, angry, we nurture our own feelings of sadness, of anger, of irritation or despair, and they even increase. But this also happens with the positive feelings. When we hear something that touches our heart, that shows the best in human beings, that shows kindness, it also awakens and expands these feelings in ourselves and has an impact on our next interactions. We carry it with us. And as the saying goes, there is a lot of darkness there, but one candle cannot be extinguished by all the darkness. So, what I loved about this experience is the spontaneity of these acts, these gracious acts, but more so how easy it was to share that story with others and continue making ripple effects. So, this is the corner that I wanted to illuminate today with my flashlight. And I leave you with one question. Where have you experienced in the recent days some gracious act, some uplifting action, and have you shared it with others? See you on the next flashlight. After I finish recording a podcast, I always come up with some thoughts. And that is because I cannot help but looking at events from the framework of the sustainability mindset. In this case, particularly, I was thinking of the principle of interconnectedness, which states that when we understand how we are all interconnected, it impacts our decisions, which become more inclusive and contribute to the sustainability of the whole. So actually, we have inherited the values of autonomy and independence, and it's not only us, it's the whole globe who has inherited those values. And we tell ourselves a story of separation, which is that it's just a story, because we may feel very independent, but actually we all are interconnected and we all need one another. So when we understand how also in nature, how this interconnected works, it opens our heart to receiving. It connects us with the gratitude and the joy of receiving. And it also resonates with our heart because we like connecting with others. So that was my afterthought of today.